Week 17 of the fantasy football season. Here's defense DST units I would start this week. The first one, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The defense has been middle of the pack, but the last few weeks they're going out there playing better football. They've won 3 games in a row as this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and this week a slam dunk matchup at the Cleveland Browns. Give up the 5th most fantasy points to DSTs on the season. We know Junkins, he's out for the season with a bad leg injury. The receiving room has been non-existent with Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, Cedric Tillman, and this week I think this defense could go out there and make plays. Week 14 at Baltimore, 22 points allowed, 2 sacks and interception. Week 15 versus the Dolphins, 15 points allowed, 4 sacks and INT. And Week 16 at the Lions, 24 points allowed, 3 sacks and safety. So this week with a great matchup at the Browns, and Shedeur Sanders definitely struggling over the last few weeks, and now they're down their good rookie running back. They're definitely a DST to start this week. The next start, the New England Patriots. So this Pats defense has been a solid unit for the most part this season. And this week a slam dunk matchup at the New York Jets with the rookie Brady Cook only making his 3rd career start for this New York Jet team. In the last few weeks for this Pat DST, Week 13 versus the Giants, 15 points allowed, 2 sacks, a fumble recovery, a return touchdown. Week 15 versus the Bills, 35 points allowed, 2 sacks in that one. And Week 16 in the comeback victory, down 11 in the 4th quarter at the Ravens, 24 points allowed, a sack, 2 fumble recovery. So like I said, this New York Jet team is the rookie Brady Cook making his 3rd career start. At the receiving position, 2 young receivers, Donnie Mitchell, John Mechie, and a running back, Brees Hall. So I don't see the Jets moving the football much in this game. And we know this Pat defense is a hard-hitting and aggressive defensive unit. So this week, I think New England, they go out there and they put up a good ball game. Next DST is the Denver Broncos. So the Broncos, their defense has definitely been leaky and given up its points over the last few weeks. And last week versus the Jaguars, losing 34-20 in that one. But I think they bounce back, obviously, in this game. At the Kansas City Chiefs, where they're depleted without Patrick Mahomes, it's a totally different offense. And now with Gardner Minshew out for the season as well with a knee injury, they're down to 3rd-string quarterback Chris Okonkwo is this Kansas City Chiefs team. So I think Denver, after a bad loss and getting embarrassed at home from the Jacksonville Jaguars, they go to Arrowhead on Christmas night and bounce back in this one. So the last couple weeks for the Broncos DST, Week 14 at the Raiders, 17 points allowed, 4 sacks, a return touchdown. Week 15 versus the Packers, 26 points allowed, 3 sacks, 2 INTs. And Week 16 versus the Jaguars, they gave up the 34 points and obviously lost by 2 TDs, but still got to Trevor Lawrence a few times with the 5 sacks. But I think after a bad loss and a good matchup this week at the Chiefs, a division rival, they're going to take it out on Chris Okonkwo, the 3rd-string quarterback, and bounce back this week in a start. The next start, the New Orleans Saints. So this Saints team has really come together over the last few weeks. Obviously, they're going nowhere this season, but Tyler Shuck is playing good football. This defense has been improved over the last couple weeks. And this week, it's a great matchup at the Tennessee Titans. They give up the 4th most fantasy points to DSTs on the season. So the last few weeks for New Orleans, Week 14 at Tampa, 20 points allowed, interception. Week 15 versus Carolina, 17 points allowed, a sack, a fumble recovery. And then Week 16, big ball game versus the New York Jets, 6 points allowed, 8 sacks in that one, an interception and a fumble recovery. So this week, I think they can hold this Titan team low teens to possibly low 20s, worst case scenario. And the New Orleans, like I said, they're playing good football. They're beating on some of their division rivals. They beat up the Jets pretty bad in last week's ball game, 29-6 in that one. And like I said, this defense is going out there and they're making plays and putting points on the board. So this week, once again, as an option at the Tennessee Titans, I like the Saints as a start. And the final DST is the Los Angeles Chargers. So the Chargers, I thought last week they played a good ball game. Early on, Dallas was moving the football up and down the field. And then second half, they made adjustments, and the Cowboys didn't score a point in the second half of that game. So this defense, one of the more underrated units in the league. This week, a pretty decent matchup versus the Houston Texans, where C.J. Stroud's definitely played better of late for this Texan team, but still they're an offense that fails to find the end zone consistently and have to settle for a lot of field goals. So this week with those factors, I think the Chargers home this week after 2 road victories at Kansas City and Dallas could have a good defensive performance versus the Texans. Week 14 versus Philly, 19 points allowed, a sack, 4 interceptions, a fumble recovery. Week 15 at the Chiefs, 13 points allowed, 5 sacks, 2 INTs. And Week 16 at the Cowboys, 17 points allowed, a sack, and a fumble recovery. So like I said, the Chargers, they're going out there. They're holding good offenses down over the last couple weeks. They're getting to the quarterback and creating some turnovers. And I think this week we see more of the same versus the Texans. That's a few defense DST units I would start for week 17 of the fantasy football season.